Hey, Charlene. Welcome to your Akashic Charm reading. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope that all the goodies that you're wanting to come out of this do. So, just a couple of things. So, like any, I mean, I would recommend this just in general, but like anything I do, I tried my best to remember to say, take what resonates and leave the rest. One thing I'll say about that too, though, is to leave space for that to ebb and flow. Because just because something does or doesn't resonate now doesn't mean it will stay that way, and it doesn't mean that it won't change later. Um, a lot of the time, these readings, like I can't speak for other practitioners, but for myself, a big part of my intention is to have this reading that serve you for an extended period of time. So like 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now, like this can totally still be helping you. You know, healing is cyclic. So we are constantly coming back to things that we've healed, but it's at a different layer of that thing. It's at a deeper capacity because you've grown your skill sets, you've grown your capacities, you've grown your tools, your everything has grown and changed and shifted, and so that you can show up for yourself through this thing in a different way. And so, you know, anytime, and this is just something that's coming through to say, anytime that this pops up in your head or there's something where you're feeling pulled to it in a particular way or it just kind of comes up in a weird way or whatever. Anytime you think about it, it's either because there's something that's resonating, in the sense of like, oh, hey, that was brought up during this reading and there's this thing, whatever. Or it's about watching it again. It could be time for you to integrate newer depths within what's going to come through. So, yes, this is, tied to, well, not tied to, but coming from the energy of now, but that doesn't mean that it can't also still help you in the future. One of the other things that I'm going to say is I have a relatively new camera that I don't know if I can have any control over, so I'm sorry that it's doing some random blips here and there. It has a mind of its own, it turns out. I need to talk to my husband about it and see if he can help me. But anyway, because some of this tech stuff's a little out of my league. Um, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, I mean, you've worked with me before, so you know, but it's already happening. Yawn, hiccup, burp, sneeze, cough, all of that. Like any human does, of course, but I do a lot more during sessions because I'm moving the energy, and so apologies ahead of time because it's just gonna be a thing. Since you've had the one charm reading, I feel like you know this, but just in case, um, because I don't know what people do and don't know about the map and stuff, so I'm just gonna say. So, as you will have seen, you get a picture of your charms and everything on the map as well. Um, some important things. So there's a lot of symbols on this map and they are repeated. So each like twice. So there's two of each symbol. Like there's two trees, there's two webs, things like that. However, there are two symbols that are different. So there are two animal spirit guide symbols. One is a cat, one is a bat. Couldn't choose between them because they're both amazing, and it's turned out to be important, actually. So, didn't know that when I did it. And then there's two brooms. Excuse me, one has an arrow pointing towards the left, which is the feminine, which is receiving, which is the past, integrating, things like that. This camera is driving me crazy. And then the other broom has an arrow facing toward the right, and that is the masculine. It's giving, it's letting go, it's forward movement, moving toward the future, things like that. Um, so there's that. As you know, the charms have meanings. I feel like, oh, As you know, I'm not a doctor or a medical professional in any way, shape, or form. So I feel like those disclaimers might be just a smidge important. But anyway, cleansed on selenite, beautiful charm. Let's go ahead and see where your charms land. Oop, one of them, two of them flew off. So let me recast those. And that happens. That's it just wasn't meant to land quite yet. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. One of the other things I've learned is to take a picture. Gratefully, I was taking pictures before I learned why it was important. Um, there's one time I accidentally bumped the pumpkin. And I was like, oh no, I need to, it was so funny because it was an intuitive hit randomly a couple hours after I finished the reading that I looked at her picture of the pumpkin and I was like, oh no, that one charm, it moved. Luckily, it still stayed in its initial spot. It was just also in two other spots that I didn't see when I was actually giving the reading. So all I did was edit more in later. But yeah, so it was just one of those things. It's just funny. Alrighty, so where do we want to start? Ooh, excuse me. All right, so and actually one of the charms landed on top of another charm. That's a new one. So we'll see if that means anything when we get to that one. Intriguing. So I also have your notes open about what you were wanting to have or oh my goodness, your intentions to include with the session. So I have that open here in case I need to refer to that. Move you up here so I can just put this down. Alrighty. Hmm. I needed to flip a crystal so it was facing me a different way. I'm like, why do you feel off? Okay. Um, Firstly, is there anything that I want to say about this before jumping in? Never mind, they told me no. Okay. So we're gonna start with the moon charm. Oh, one other thing. There are a couple of things in here that I have like a charm and a space for. So like I have a moon charm and there's also moon symbols, and I will specify what those are. So there's that. And then the map itself is shaped like a pumpkin, and there are pumpkin symbols inside of the pumpkin. So I just wanted to let you know. Um, so and this is the first time that that's coming through, actually. That's interesting. Because the pumpkins, which I'm actually going to talk about with your first symbol, so it's really funny. The pumpkin symbols represent harvest. And now that I'm thinking about it, the pumpkin overall is representative of harvest because we're harvesting this session. Intriguing. So anyway, the moon charm is representative of your emotions, your emotional landscape, your emotional intelligence, your emotional regulation, being present with your emotions, all of that, as well as stop running away from this thing and face it. That's the difference with the moon charm versus the moon symbols. The moon symbols are just talking about emotions, really, but the moon charm is about facing something. And it came through that way partially because the moon charm that I'm using, it's like a crescent moon, but there's a face on it. And when I was channeling the information for the session as a whole, not just yours, but this Akashic charm session, it came through as being important that I was utilizing a moon with a face because it's about facing things. And so I thought that that was really funny, or interesting and funny and whatnot. So your moon charm about all of this emotions and running toward things, so you're actually facing the things that you've been running away from, is in two spaces, the harvest and the seedling. So death and rebirth cycles. That is what there are things that you aren't necessarily wanting to face in those experiences, which by the way, randomly, by the way, I'm sorry, it's so bright. And the lighting in here is just always kind of funky. But anyway, so death and rebirth cycles. I mean, who doesn't want to run away from death and rebirth cycles? You know? So like no pressure there in regard to like oh my gosh, I'm running away from this, and then I can't run away from I don't know. Anyway, the thing is though, is we're especially now we're in the season of harvest, but throughout the year we're always harvesting and planting seeds, and so it's no different now. It's just a little bit more of the focused space because we're getting prepared for winter. You have a lot that will be coming up in regard to rest and relaxation. There are 5 charms in that space or in both of the salt baths or the bubble bath symbols, which are about rest and relaxation. So just a little foreshadowing there. Um, but we are in this time of replenishment, in this time of um, in these death and rebirth cycles, we are, and it's coming. I was questioning whether I meant to say you are, but no, it's we, we in general are navigating just so much around alignment and around our embodiments, like you especially being in not only this 9 year, but in your 9 year, which, what's up, girl? Because I'm there too. Hasn't it been a lot? Like this year has been nuts. I cannot, I just, I'm kind of like white girling a little bit. Like I just can't, literally can't even. Sorry. But the thing is it's been so like I was actually talking to my husband about this the other night and I was like, I know I probably could have said this about every year ever, but this year in particular has just been like constant change. Like the only consistency this year has been change. I shouldn't say the only, but the main consistency this year has been change. And yes, I could very likely say that in lots of other ways, but there's just something extra about this year and about the internal landscape shifting and changing so much. And so I can only imagine what it's been like for you too, but based off of what you're sharing, within your intentions, um, sorry, they're directing me towards one of my crystals, and I don't know why, what it has to do with what we're talking about. I guess that's interesting. Okay, so I'm looking at this blue plume flower agate, and I got it from Amy. But I just noticed it out of the corner of my eye and it looked really different than I remembered it looking. And so it just kind of, they were pulling me in towards it, and I'm just trying to see what I'm supposed to get out of it for you. So what's looking different? And let's see. Oh, I guess it's showing up pretty well. So you know how there's all of these very light plumes here with this like darker blue around it? And how these plumes have this like reddishy, orangey brown kind of just wrapping around all of the edges of it. So it's like that all the way around. I I don't remember these dark orangey brown parts being quite so prevalent. And so that's why it was kind of pulling me in and I was like, okay, what's that about? So it's about refining the edges is how I'm hearing this. Starting from the edges going inward. It's like it's representative of what I was saying earlier about the healing being cyclic and us like kind of, going outside, starting from the outside, going in. If you I keep being reminded of this. So there's this video that I posted last week. It's about a message from the Akashic Guardians in regard to healing. If you've seen it, great. If you haven't seen it, oh, go watch it. It's just like it's not long, I don't think. No, I actually kept that one under like it's like 4 minutes. I did pretty good for me to talk and anyway. It's a thing to condense myself in that way. Um but yeah, so there's something for you in that video. It might literally just be the intention of why I was creating the video. It's a message from the Guardians about an approach to healing that could be really beneficial and really helpful for people. So anyway, refining the edges, working your way in. It feels like there's a part of you that is wanting to jump in head first. And what I'm I don't know why this is the visualization that I'm getting, but it's basically like you're on a diving board that is over a frozen pond, and you want to dive in head first to the center instead of working your way in from the external or from the sides rather. And so what's going to happen is well, there's a couple of things that could happen. One, the ice is just a little too thick and you just smash your head in there. And so you don't go anywhere and you're just knocked out. And you're in the center of this lake that could have also like when you hit it could have also cracked. And so now you're going to potentially be falling in the center of this frozen lake, nowhere near the edges to save, like to help you save yourself. And so it's like there's parts of you that are wanting to jump headfirst into something instead of working your way in a way that is going to not fry your systems and not give you a concussion. And so I'm not sure how or why that came through, but that is again the visualization that they showed me. And so, well, what happens? Like, think of it too. So, like, what happens when you do that? When you dive headfirst into something like that, instant overwhelm, hypothermia, going literal and metaphorical here. Um, but you're freezing yourself out. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how that resonates for you because there's definitely something there. It's like it's resonant with the let me double read how you said or like triple read because this will be like my third time. So in regard to you like pushing away the psychic side of you and your third eye and things like that. Um, let me how do I want to so so what you're saying here is bringing forward a lot of different moving parts in regard to, the your third eye, the different health issues that you're experiencing, feeling like there's this wall that is keeping you from processing and retaining information, things like that. And then the wet blanket that I brought forward. There's a lot of different things happening here. So interestingly enough, there's nothing in the hats, which I find interesting based off of what you wanted to bring forward. So I am being directed though toward the dragonfly. Oh, sorry about that. I don't think it picked up on it, but I forgot to turn my notifications down. Um, so the dragonfly wings are Okay, they're technically not in the book, but I'm feeling like there's meant to be, or like I meant to bring forward the information of the book too. So the dragonfly wings represent flying toward or away from something, and also freedom and transformation. And so the dragonfly is in the moon symbol, all about your emotions and being emotionally present within yourself and others. Um, and then also the dragonfly is in the book, and the book is all about learning and expansion and growth and perception. So what does this tell us about where we're at so far with your session? These death and rebirth cycles, stop running away from and be present with them, as well as bringing transformation and freedom through that aligned action, as well as learning about yourself, learning about what it's like to be more emotionally present, be more present in general within your spiritual capacities, within your clairs and your connections to self and through that source love. So, oh, excuse me. Um, they want me to go ahead and also bring in the magic wand or the fairy wand, whichever sounds better to you, or the fairy magic fairy wand. Um, it's in two spaces, the moon symbol and the bubble bath, the salt bath. So we're bringing this in now too because it's highlighting just how important the magic is, and that's what the wand is about. It's about magic, bippity boppity boop. Wave your magic wand and boop. I got lots of booping with the wand. The mystical, magical, the um, inner child wonder, childlike wonder, all of that. So again, it's in these death and rebirth cycles, the moon, which is your emotions, and the salt bath, which is rest, rejuvenation, and relaxation. And so a part of what's wanting to come through is your mental body and your physical body, but there what else is there? I don't know if you've ever worked with the chaos body before. And since you're taking SA1, you won't be doing it in this one. If you decide to take Healer's Edition, as long as she didn't, I don't remember if no, I think she only re-recorded everything for level 1. I don't think she did level 2. If you ever do decide to take Healer's Edition, then you would be working with the Chaos Body in that course as long as she didn't change it, um, from when I took it. But the Chaos Body is coming forward, which is interesting because that one's like an elevated body in the sense of it's not necessarily something that you work with until you work with the other ones, but it's coming forward. So I'm just going to allow that to be. So what I was getting initially is that your mental body and your physical body in some ways is tired. They are worn out. They are burnt out. They are so like I'm just seeing them on a merry-go-round and they're like spun out and they're dizzy and disoriented and they're like they don't know what way is up. And they have been on that merry-go-round for a long time. Some of that is through their own ways of operating, and some of that is through your own misunderstanding around how to work with your mental body. So, in the course, that's going to develop and grow a lot. But what is coming through in regard to how you can show up a little bit differently is this lesson that I learned a long time ago with my mental body. And that is a lot of the time we assign our internal aspects jobs that they might not actually be capable of doing. And so sometimes we'll assign our mental body, for example, or our brain, our mind, however, whatever. We'll assign it a job to make everything outside of us okay. It's not able to do that. And the ways that it tries to do that, you don't actually want to be doing. Not from a loving, because you want to, I know you, well, I mean, I don't know you, but I know you. And you want to be coming from love. And the ways in which the mind will make things work so that it can attempt to do its job is through these avenues of like manipulation, of trying to control, being maybe a little overbearing, fill in the blank, overdoing, giving, overgiving, people pleasing, all of this stuff. It's all wrapped up in how do I stay safe? And sometimes, a lot of the time, how we'll try to do that is by manipulating the external because we think that the external is the issue rather than it being the internal. And it's not even that it's necessarily an issue, it's a perception. And so, again, highlighting the book. So, perceptions really wanted to come through in highlighting how you view life, how you view yourself, how you view your spiritual gifts, your connections, how you view your third eye connection, and that fear. Um, but the thing, a fear slash anxiety, the thing is, you're talking about shame here too, though. And, I don't know the specifics around that. But what I do know is that we don't want to be in shame. Because the thing with shame is shame and guilt are the lowest, like lowest of the lows in regard to our frequencies. And so when we are actively in those frequencies, it's literally tying us down and keeping us in vibration with different entities, different parasitic forces that are leaking your energy and are also inhibiting your connection. And so, like I said, this is multifaceted and there's a lot of different things happening here. And so that's another reason why they showed me the frozen pond and they just reminded me is because there's a lot of things to get to this core, the center of that frozen lake, that place that you're wanting to be. But we got to start on the outside and work our way in, incrementally from all sides, slowly until you get to that center point. And so, and it's important for you to know that you're not the only one doing the work here. Yes, you are leading the charge. It's important for you to be the driver in your driver's car or in your driver's car, in the driver's seat. It's important for you to be the one driving and not your other internal bodies, especially not your chaos body. Because your chaos and ego have been taken turns driving, and that's a part of why there's so much like it's just very sporadic energy. It's very like touch and go everywhere. I don't know if that resonates, but that's what it feels like. It's very like it's just everywhere. I don't know what that sound effect was, but it just happened. So again going back to it's important that you know that it's not just you doing the work here, and it's not going to be just you running around the outside of this pond going nuts. It's you and all aspects of you are on the outside of this pond, and each of you get to slowly work your way in, you know? So, thinking of it as a team effort in that way can relieve some of the pressure because Yes, ultimately, it's all you, but it helps us to remember that we are a community within of and ourselves. There's a lot of pieces and parts of us that we are connecting to and working with all the time, and I just got dizzy out of nowhere. That was weird. Um, oh, there's parts of you that weren't online. That's part of why. Um, and my right shoulder blade. This is a part of the presence that I'm talking about. Noticing what's going on within your body. I got dizzy for a quick second, and then my right shoulder blade just started itching out of nowhere. And of course, it could be a natural thing. However, it's usually not, in session at least. So I've got this book by Louise Hay, Heal Your Body A to Z. Highly recommend it. It is basically a small dictionary to look up, hey, I'm having this thing inside of my body. And she identifies what could be an emotional response or relation to that thing, rather. So, shoulder blade. Let's see if that's a thing. Shoulders. All right, I'll take it. Shoulders represent our ability to carry out experiences in life joyously. We make life a burden by our attitude. Well, that's heavily related to perception and how we face things, how we tend to make life a lot harder, how we give jobs to parts of our bodies that they just aren't able to do, things like that. So, okay, that makes some sense. Um, let me look, let me look up the back though, because the shoulder blade's kind of in the back. Upper, lack of emotional support. We're talking so much about emotions. Feeling unloved and holding back love. So, okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad that I was guided to look that up too. So, when we are in this shame, we are literally cutting ourselves off from love. And so, I don't know the specifics of what happened. However, okay, there's a few things coming through. It's important for you to remember that yes, we are these eternal, beautiful love and light bodies that are occupying this human experience, and that's the part that we tend to forget. We are human. We are meant to be human, to fully occupy a human experience means that mistakes will be made. Sorry, I heard my husband downstairs. Without a doubt, choices, decisions will be made that will have some sort of consequence, and sometimes we don't like those things. Sometimes we don't like, oh, hey, because I did this or didn't do this, that happened. So a part of what's coming through is, of course, love, but grace and compassion and gratitude. That one might be a little bit like, hmm. And here's where it's coming in. Again, I don't know the situation. I don't know the heft of it, the what it was that occurred, but it's really important that you stop blaming yourself. Because yes, maybe if you had listened to your intuition, things would have went differently. But you don't know that. Yeah, you can assume that. It can be like, oh, well, if I had just done this one thing, then all of these things would have fallen into place perfectly. And that may be what could have happened, but you don't know that. You it is impossible to know that because you don't know what else was also happening at the same time. And again, I'm talking vaguely here because I again don't have the specifics, and that's okay. I don't need to. I'm just saying that just because we think that that one small decision would have completely changed the trajectory, and yeah, it would have, but it doesn't mean that it would have changed it in the way that we think it would have changed it. And so it's important for you to stop pretending like you have complete control of everything outside of you. It's really important to let go of that because no one has that control. And no one has the ultimate divine knowing of exactly what would have happened if we had just listened to ourselves. And isn't it interesting that you have likely been getting guidance around this for a while and like, hey, you should probably stop blaming yourself, stop hurting yourself, stop harming yourself, stop cutting yourself off from love by being in that space of shame and whatnot. And yet, here we are talking about how because you didn't listen at this time, these things happened. Well, have you changed what how you listen? Have you learned from those experiences to listen to yourself, to listen to your intuition? Sometimes that is the ultimate lesson. It's not necessarily about what we did or didn't do that was or wasn't wrong, quote unquote, or right or whatever, also quote unquote. It's about what we gained out of the experience. And so it's really important to recognize, hey, maybe this really tough thing happened so that I could learn to listen to my intuition, to listen to the guidance that I receive, to update how I respond to whatever it is that's going on. And so a lot of the times the lesson isn't the thing that's right in front of us, it's the things that's all around it. So again, perception shifts. And I'm so sorry that my camera keeps doing this stupid, annoying flippy floppy thing. I'm like, just focus. How bright does it need to be? I wasn't yelling at you, I was yelling at the camera. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that gratitude piece, the gratitude piece is you being grateful for allowing yourself in those moments to be fully human, to be so wrapped up in the human experience that you denied. I don't understand. I turned my phone all the way down. To, in those moments, again, just allowing yourself to be fully human, allowing yourself to be so fully immersed in the 3D that you ignored your own gut connections, your own intuition. So, and that can be difficult because, again, I don't know the heaviness of these situations. I don't know who else was impacted. But just take a moment to think about it from that perspective. You, in those moments, allowed yourself to be so human. What you literally came here to do and to be. Being grateful for that. I'm not saying you have to like what happened. I'm not saying you could ever condone it. Not saying for you to um, do it again in that way, because you learn the lesson. It's about that reframe of, wow, you know what? I may not have liked what happened in response to my not listening to my intuition. However, my soul fully appreciates the fact that I allowed myself to be human, and I am inviting that in. I'm inviting that perspective forward because, the whole like, I don't know why this is coming through, but there's this it's this general fear of judgment that's coming forward. It's more than that though. It's like the whole like judgment day thing. And I'm not saying that you in and of yourself are in that space, but there is a part of you that's bringing that forward. It's very like military-esque, very like ten hut, like um and they are very adamant about being perceived a particular way. And they are a part of you that is having issue with this because there's from them and potentially other aspects, but they're the representation that I'm seeing at this time. Within them, there is this very militant, very like uh particular way. Again, it's very important that they are perceived a particular way, and they are so reliant on this external validation. They are so diligently connected to that that they have their like it's like they have eyes. Like they don't actually, but it's like they have eyes all over their body, always looking outward to make sure that they are, again, being perceived the particular way that they are desiring to be perceived. And if they aren't in any way, shape, or form, they like put on the siren of red alert and it starts like it's very much a fight, flight, freeze, fawn thing. Um, and then again, they're pulling me back to the Judgment Day thing. Like there's this idea that has been implanted in regard to there being a judgment day, there being like this big energy of this, man up in the heavens or what have you that is this it's got like a whip in his hand and he's like like in regard to judgment in regard to being good, quote unquote, being good. And this has been ruling a lot of you because it's very much involving your inner child and the militant aspect and this perception of this like man being the judgment guy, this is a huge judge very much has been connected to your inner child and how they um, are basically ruled by these two beings, these two very militant beings. And they're not beings, I should say. They're one is an aspect of you that is persona, um, and then the other one is like a perception. That perception of like the other side or what have you. Um, and that's really old. That wasn't just from this lifetime. Like this dynamic has been passed down generationally, but also through your soul families. And you're here to break that. You're here to let go of all of that. And that very much has been keeping you from the outskirts of that pond. And has been a part of the desperation to just dive in head first because you're so like taken away from the sides that you almost didn't even know that they even existed, and you just thought like diving in head first was your only option because the militant aspect and the perception of this judgment and everything that comes along with that has been keeping you from seeing the many avenues and many doors that are open for you around the outskirts of the edging of that pond. Um, wow. That went somewhere I wasn't anticipating. Um, so they want me to bring in the other charms that are also in the salt bath with you. And there's a few. So the that's going to be an interesting way to talk about these. Sorry, I'm just seeing how they want me to move forward with it. Because you have a lot concentrated in this one spot. Like there's a few outside of that. It's just there's a lot concentrated in this one spot. So I'm just trying to discern which way they were wanting me to go exactly. So there's a key charm. The key charm is a heart. It's like a little heart with a key on it. Um, so this charm is in the salt bath. It's in, well, actually, let me say this. It's about unlocking something. Shocker, I know. Key unlocking something. But what I envision with this and what has been consistently confirmed for every session, actually, is that, excuse me, with the key, I'm seeing a door with the key literally inside the keyhole, just waiting on you to turn it and open it. So there's that. And it's in the salt bath, as I was saying. It's also in the cauldron, which is all about cooking something up, that aligned action. And it's also in the tree. And the tree is all about nature and healing and adventure. And so, what this is saying is that the key, or the many keys, I should say, that are ready for you to unlock are in this forward movement, are in this aligned action, are connected to nature, are connected to healing, are connected to adventure, which brings in your inner child, and also doing this in a way that is much more relaxed than you've been approaching. So, one of the other things that I wanted to say too is, especially with so many of your charms in the salt bath, is how you are, or have been, I should say, approaching this. And so we've already identified a lot of what that's kind of looked like in an energetic sense with all of the different like visualization metaphors. But it's also just highlighting how important rest, rejuvenation, and relaxation is for you. And so I know you have been taking Amy's course. I mean, I don't, know anything about the specifics of that. I just know that you were joining this time. Um, and with that, what's coming forward is for you to take some time to journal your definitions of rest and all of these separately. What's your definition of rest? What's your definition of rejuvenation? And what's your definition of relaxation? It's totally fine if some of the ideas of them end up overlapping, but there's a different energy within each of those words, and I want you to identify your connection to what that is. And so you're going to have a specific connection to rest, relaxation, rejuvenation. And really like give yourself some time here. Give yourself 10, 15 minutes to really dive in, like 5 minutes per word or something like that. Where you really just feel in your body what's coming forward to bring up, what memories come up, what thoughts come forward. Just allowing yourself, your bodies to come forward and share with you how they feel about those words. Because this militant aspect is definitely going to have some things to say about it. So there's the um what did I want to say? Yeah. Okay, so I was kind of getting some of what was going to come forward. That's why. Okay, that's not something that I need to say because I don't want to influence any of your answers. But after you feel complete with that, write like a small paragraph at least for each and feel in your body, like literally, like give yourself a minute just to sit with each word, even just thinking of the word rest. Okay, being present with the word rest. What does the vibration of rest bring forward for me? How does it feel in my body? Is there resistance? Am I getting any weird twinges anywhere? Am I feeling kind of sick somewhere? Am I feeling really good somewhere? Just really being present in your body with what is coming forward. Um, and even in the grounding practice that I told you about, for your one charm, go do that and bring forward those three words. Go outside and feel what those words feel like in your body. Maybe you do need to stand. Maybe you don't need to sit. Maybe you need to stand with it. Whatever it is that feels good. But it's just about you allowing your body and your internal bodies to speak, to come forward and share with you because they have so much wisdom to bring forward. Um, and then after you do that, after again you feel complete, you will then go to the records. You can go into your records or just connect in any way that feels good, but you're bringing forward the authentic, divine definition of those words. And I'm actually feeling important that it is important to say the authentic love and light perception of rest, of rejuvenation, of relaxation. And allow whatever messages to come forward, come forward. Feel in your body again. See how the divine definitions of those words feel in your body. Um, does it bring peace forward in some way? How do you feel that? How does it come forward in your body? How does it come forward in a memory, in a thought, in a feeling, whatever it is? Just paying attention to your sensations. And that, by the way, is a huge developer of your clairs, especially the clairsentience, the claircognizance. It's going to be tapping into the feeling and knowing clairs a lot, which is going to not only develop those clairs, but develop your other clairs. Because when we develop one clair, yeah, we are developing that one, but we're also in other ways developing all of the other clairs. So they're all connected too. They may be a completely different thing, but because you develop this one over here, this one gets to benefit from that one's development. Um, so there's that. So the pentacle is and by the way, there's going to be more that comes forward. I'm just going where I'm directed. The pentacle charm is a five-pointed star and it's representative of the elements: earth, air, fire, water, ether, spirit, whatever word you prefer. And it's about how we can incorporate these elements into our lives more. Um, it's also bringing in this bit of a reality check in ways in regard to the human experience. The pentacle is very much bringing forward this energy of the human experience in its totality. Um, the pentacle star is also got this circle around it, and so the circle is bringing in community, it's bringing in unity, connection, abundance, the oneness, not the oneness, oneness, all of that good stuff. And so your pentacle is also in the salt bath. Excuse me. It's also in the cauldron, and it's also in the moon. And so with this, you've got this pentacle, you've got the elements, you've got community, the community within oneself, and then also external, because everyone outside of us is a mirror. So there's that. Um, but it's about bringing all of these together. So we are cooking stuff up by connecting in with your, actually, let me say it this way. You are cooking stuff up. And I mean, this does apply externally to others too, but when you connect within your emotional experience in a rested, rejuvenated, relaxed way, there's something really important for you about working on this militant aspect and healing and clearing that. Because this aspect and this perception of this judgment and persecution, by the way, lots of witch wounds and things coming forward for the collective as well. Um, Interesting. Sorry. But anyway, that's something that's really important for you specifically because it's just impacting your connection to self as a whole, and it's keeping your inner child from feeling safe, at least safe enough to work with you on deeper levels as well. I forgot about my breakfast. Um, and so how do we bring the elements into this? So firstly, you've got the water big time between the moon itself. Moon is representative of water, and the bath. The bath, of course, bringing in that water. And so we're again heavily working through the emotions here, being present with the emotions. I shouldn't say heavily, intentionally working with the emotions is a better way to phrase that. So there's that. Um, and then there's lots of ways to think about elements. Like, let's expand our perception on elements here. It's more than just quote unquote earth, air, fire, water, ether, spirit. It's so I'm just going to take the bath, for example. So you've got the water, salt is of the earth. If you bring crystals forward, those are of the earth. Um, And yes, crystals have everything has all elements, but there are certain elements that are highlighted. Like for example, yes, all crystals are of the earth, so you could technically say that they're all earth. But the thing is some are connected in very different ways. Like this beautiful blue celestite heart and this blue celestite piece here. This is, more air and spirit element. You're really bringing in those higher chakric frequencies. Chakric. I don't know if that's a word. Um, you've got, this gorgeous moss agate that is, going to be anchoring you into the earth in more beautiful ways because agates do that, but especially moss agate. It's literally moss. Well, not literally, but it's bringing forward the energy of moss. And then you've got this gorgeous carnelian here. I mean, this is more than just carnelian, but and then so you're bringing in more fire, more of that energy. So playing with what the energies, the elements even are and what that means like to you. It's important for us to really connect in with the cyclic nature. Nature itself is cyclic, the full moons, like I know you've done a couple of those, the radiant realignments. That is an amazing way to connect in with the elements, reconnecting in with the cyclic nature that we, especially as feminine, are really meant to be connected to. Our ancestors are very, very connected into the elements, into nature, into the cycles of the moon and the seasons and all these things. And it's really important for us to get reconnected to that. It's something that's been forgotten. And it's just so important for us to reconnect in that way. Um, and so I just inquired a bit as to why the pentacle is on top of the wand a bit. And a part of that is just highlighting the importance of the magic that comes out of those connections. And so, like, I'm not saying this because I'm the one facilitating them, but I'm saying this because it's aligned for you. As long, of course, if it doesn't feel aligned, then it doesn't feel aligned, but there's something really important for you in the radiant realignment connections. It's a simple way to stay connected with the cyclic nature that the full moon represents. And then the group itself, I'm going to be bringing in more moon stuff. I was actually going to post in a little bit about doing a new moon thing, just for that, the radiant realignment group. So, and know too that, and this is just specific for me, but the way that I'm working with the moon's energies is not the way that people typically work with the moon. My intentions, excuse me, moving a lot there. My intentions have to do with the opportunities that the moon itself presents, not in actually connecting with the moon. And I don't go into this because I don't want to I don't know. I feel like some people aren't necessarily ready to hear this, and so I don't want to scare them away in any way, shape, or form. But the moon is not exactly what we've been told it is, and at least again in my perception and how I feel connected and not connected to the moon. But a part of why the radiant realignments happened in the first place, because I resisted it for a long time, is because I was basically forced. I wasn't forced. I, of course, had free will, but I was basically forced because I was getting every sign possible all day long to start the moon stuff. And I'm just like, but I don't want to connect with the moon. And my guys were like, if you would please just do this, we can share more information as to why after you do the first one. And of course, they didn't say it that clean and whatnot, and that bluntly. But once I did the first one, I understood. Oh, I'm not connecting with the moon in the same way that other people typically are in the mainstream. It's connecting with the opportunities that the moon is presenting, the flow and the cyclic nature that the moon is presenting. And at one point, the moon was more legitimately what we know, have been told that it is, but at this time, it's not. And so, and again, I'm not saying that in a way to freak you out at all. It's just something it's a seed that's wanting to get planted, and it's something that I probably need to talk more about in Radiant Realignment. But again, it's just I don't know. I want to make sure that it's not ever coming from a fear-based place. And I just worry that sharing too much too soon might do that, like diving in headfirst into that pond, the frozen lake or whatever. So again, it's just the pentacle on the wand is just emphasizing the magic. It's emphasizing the importance. And also in a more so literal sense too, utilizing the elements and recognizing how magical that is. Like you've already had some confirmation bias, so to speak, to apply to this because of the changes that you were making with the one charm reading and how just connecting into the earth more, being on your feet a bit more, recalling your power, um, doing all the things that came forward, how that's already helping you. And this is just emphasizing there's so much more and so much more beautiful things that you can experience out of having even more of that connection. And so, go with it as feels good. I don't know where you live, so I don't know how cold or hot it is. I know in Ohio it's not bad today, but it's been getting cold. But regardless, I still go outside, even if it's just on my porch for a few minutes. It's just something. It's feeling the wind. It's just being in the sun. It's feeling the trees and the earth and all the things, but it's also just breathing in that air, tasting the air, just really connecting in a deeper way. They want me to go to the sun next, which is funny because I thought I was going to go to somewhere else. But the sun charm is about shining a light on this thing. It's about bringing warmth to. It's also about the fire element. And so this charm is mostly in the kitty cat. And so, oh, that's where it's coming. That's funny. Okay. So the kitty cat is bringing forward, of course, the cat energy, cat animal spirit energy, the guide of the kitty cat. Um, and it's the sun is also in the moon. And so again, shining a light on your emotions, your emotional connection, your regulation, your intelligence, your emotional maturity, all of that. So the cat is wanting to bring forward its wisdom to assist you in navigating your emotional landscape. Um, but also in helping your third eye and crown connections and helping to ground you. I don't know if you have any cats, but they I should say they are one of our guardians of the earth. They help to protect us within the realms and things because they have crazy connections. They can see everything. And so they are very psychically powerful and grounding. And so if you don't have any cats, I would highly recommend starting to work with a cat animal spirit, or maybe even getting some like, I don't know, cat artwork or cat crystals or something with cats. Like something with cats is really wanting to come forward. In a more physical sense too. And if you get like a cat crystal or something, I would recommend it being, it doesn't have to be, but I would recommend it being a darker color or amethyst. Amethyst is good too, but, darker color like a black obsidian, black tourmaline, a shungite, um, black opal, but I'm feeling more toward the other ones. Volcano agate could be a really good one too. What the point is it's bringing in that grounding energy. And so what I keep seeing is, how cats purr. Well, that is extremely grounding and healing. Bees buzzing and cats purring. I mean, I don't know if they're on same frequencies or not, but it's kind of a similar healing frequency in a way. Um, in the sense of like what it is capable of as far as healing and grounding goes and calming the senses, calming the nervous system. Um, and so if you have cats, amazing, because they're helping you and they're assisting you, and you have, I mean, the cat animal spirit's coming forward, and I do feel like there's a deeper soul connection that picking up on. Um, Yeah, you and this cat soul have been together for a long time. And I'm not, I'm seeing that you have had this cat soul be a part of your life in a more physical sense. I'm not necessarily picking up that, is it now? I keep hearing no, that it's not physically um connected at this. I'm not getting full clarity on that, so I keep hearing no, but there's something else that's wanting to come from the side. So I'm just gonna let that one lay and I won't complete that statement. But um regardless, there's something really important about you and connecting with the cats because they again are so psychically and physically or psychically connected to the psychic realms. And they actually could help you in that. Interesting. Your militant persona does not like cats. Hmm. Just gonna point that out. So they could help you with that too. By the way, if that's something that you have like no idea how to work with in regard to clearing the militant aspect, if you would like to work on that, that is something that we can do, and I can assist you through that. And it would also be a bit of a training on how to work with your bodies, um, especially because you are in, Amy's class, so it will help you in all of that. When I was doing, because I've taken every single class that Amy has. I haven't finished every single class, but I've taken them all. I've taken and completed all of the Akashic record courses, but um, when I was practicing a lot between levels 1 and 2 and throughout 2 and training after 2, I had, of course, we have partners, and my partner and I would meet weekly for like a year, something like that, and we were doing inner bodies work the whole time. It was amazing and so powerful, so transformational. I could not recommend it more. It really is just so powerful. And so, um, by all means, you have the power to navigate through with this militant aspect sorry, there's a dog here, when you're tapping in with your Akashic team to help you, but you also haven't learned the protocol, so know that. Um, and I'm not saying you're not capable. I'm saying that you will want to utilize your guardians if that is something that you tackle on your own. Um, and at the same time, know like there's no shame in asking for help at all. And so if that's something you would like to work through, then I would be happy to support you in that. We could book something and work it out. And like I said, it would literally also be a training for you. So you're getting a 2-in-1. Um, woo. All right, just about dropped my phone. Oh, okay. Um, Anything else? Oh, right. Just shining a light on your emotions and all of the things that we've said about the emotions. And again, just how many are bringing forward your emotional landscape is a lot. Let me double check and make sure I didn't bump that. Because there's one that looks like I might have. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. I just wanted to double check. I remembered it being in 2. I didn't remember it being in 3. So, the next one they want us to move to is the heart charm. And the heart is about love wanting to be experienced here. It is mostly in the kitty cat and a little bit in the pumpkin. So we've got some love wanting to be experienced with your connection to the kitty cat realm and your harvest. So that's interesting that they're showing me that. So your the whole idea with the frozen pond, like everything that we talked about with that, it's also so there's a lot of things that are impacted by that. A lot of things are impacted by that connection, by this militant aspect, and by the perception of that judgment perception. Um, and then, bringing in the whole process that's been happening about how the militant has been keeping you away from the edges of the pond and how you've been just wanting to dive in head first because you don't know what else to do because you haven't been seeing the doorways that are all there for you because of the militant. And there's other things too, but it's the militant that's leading the charge in defending those doors so that you don't see them. Um, the cat is going to help you in clearing the illusions. And so bringing love into that relationship with yourself and the kitty cats is going to help a lot. But love into your harvest too, because what happens when all of those connections to self are blocked, for a lack of a better term, you're also blocking harvesting. You're blocking the seeds that you're wanting to plant. It's impacting every aspect of your life and any manifestations that you actually want to happen and potentially even impacting ones that you don't want to happen and having those come forward. And so there's lots of things that are impacted by this dynamic. Um, and so really a lot of love is wanting to come in for you here. And again, we were talking about blocking love through shame, the shame and guilt. And so the cat is also here to help you relieve some of that so that like I just heard metabolize and like digest. Like there's been things that haven't been being metabolized and digested, and that's a part also of the physical things that you're experiencing, those health issues. All of this is very much impacting those health issues. If you notice, they all have kind of similar languaging. Like, how did you say that exactly? Where'd it go? Part of this, I'm sure, is due to the mystery health issues. So what I want to say is it's a bit of a back and forth. It's not necessarily that the health issues have caused this blocking. It's more that the I don't want to say it this way, but it's how it's coming through. The lack of intentional emotional connection with self, the lack of moving that shame forward, like the there's been ways for you to show up for yourself that, or I should say, there have been and there are ways that you can show up for yourself that will start to move the needle in the I shouldn't say it that way. That'll start to move the trajectory in the way that you're wanting them to be moved. Um, yes, eventually the physical health stuff ended up impacting the rest, impacting your connection and all of that, but it was more actually related to the these internal things not shifting, these internal things getting stuck and stagnant and being a part of what caused those illnesses and diseases and different things. And the thing is it wasn't entirely just from this lifetime. You know, there's lots of other lifetimes that are impacting this as well because we're multidimensional beings. And so it's not that you were like all of a sudden just bringing all of this shit into this lifetime. It's that some of it came with you through generations, through your soul lineage, through your other lifetimes, through ancestors, through other loved ones. Like there's a lot of things that like create all of this. So it's not just a one size, or it's not just like a one size fits all. It's not a singular answer. It's many things impacting many things. And so how you can navigate this is by remembering all of the things I said for your one charm reading, but then also there are things to be cleared. There are things to work through and navigate through and all of the things that were coming forward. And they want me to move to the star. So there's a star charm. And it's in two places. It's in the salt bath and it's in the broom that's facing towards the past, the feminine, the receiving. Um, and so the star is all about star quality, star power, stardom, wish upon a shooting star. You're a star at this thing. There's a hidden talent or skill, you know, things like that. And so we're bringing this star quality to, again, the salt bath. Like, cannot tell you how important rest and relaxation is for you, rejuvenation, and redefining your connection to that. You're redefining your perception around that. Um, because a part of that driving force is related to the militant aspect, which is distracting you from the way to actually enter yourself. And trying to make it seem like it's this big, huge task where you need to jump off this diving board into the center and just throw yourself in, when in reality, that's not going to get you where you think it's going to. Um, so the star is also highlighting the importance of going into the past. And since it's in the broom and not the zombie, it's also indicative of how important it is this current lifetime to be present with what you have experienced. And so that is very inner child related. I mean, yes, other internal bodies, but very inner child related. And so we're bringing forward a lot of opportunity for your inner child to experience healing, to experience growth. And we're going to go back to the tree a bit here with the key unlocking that. Um, be adventurous with your inner child. Be more playful with them. Allow them to explore and show you things. The inner child, like I have done, as I mentioned, I've done so much inner work, inner bodies work, especially, and cannot tell you how impactful, of course, they've all been, but the inner child especially. They have so much wisdom. They are the one that is most connected to your originality self that you came in here as. They then, and at that point, they're connected, so still connected into the other side, so to speak, and your soul contracts, the purposes that you came in here for. Yeah, yes, of course they don't necessarily, remember all of the things, but they are the thing that is connected into you in a different way, in a way that literally created and framed your subconscious mind and body, which is how you have grown your perceptions. And so your inner children are going to assist you in that in a way that no other internal body can. Um, they want me to move on to the last charm, which is the dragon. And the dragon is bringing forward this deep, ancient healing. I don't know what you have and haven't done with dragons, if you work with them or not, but they are amazing. They are some of the like first beings of this universe or of this galaxy rather, and probably beyond further than that. I'm getting nods. But they have so much beautiful, potent healing, and they're here to help us with, I mean, they're here for lots of reasons, but in part to help us with our karmic clearings, our karmic connections, healing those things. But they're also, they also to assist in burning things away that are no longer aligned, with not all of them have this, but a lot of them have fire breath or some form of breath or some form of helping you to alchemize what it is that you're experiencing. Because fire, I'm seeing like poison breath, I'm seeing like plasma breath, they are gonna have the other two, like plasma and the poison, they're gonna have a different way of alchemizing, but the fire, like just sense, feel, imagine burning away the things that are no longer aligned, because guess what happens within the fire? Yes, they turn into ashes, but then guess what comes out of the ashes? The phoenix rising from the ashes. And so there's your newness. That is the transmutation, the taking something that was pain and alchemizing it into purpose, alchemizing it into forward movement, into something that serves you instead of hurts you. And so they're here to help with that. And show you lots of ways around that. But they're also great companions. They are a spirit animal guide within themselves, and they are just, again, super powerful, super potent, and also bringing in some freedom because, they fly. And every time flying is freedom for me, like not in a plane necessarily. I'm not saying it's not, but like wings, so you can kind of, you know, go where you want. At your own pace and all of that. So the dragon, you're gonna laugh, is in the salt bath, is in the moon, and is in the falling leaves. So there's a new one. Falling leaves are about things that are falling away. And the trees are the perfect example of what a great example of letting go looks like. They just let their leaves go because it's no longer aligned for them to hold on to them. And so as they let them go, the leaves become food for the earth. More things are grown and harvested and seeds planted to lead to more harvest and all of the things. And then the trees get new leaves. and those lead, and it's that beautiful cycle, getting connected into that cyclic nature again. So, and the dragons are also inviting you to have some fun with this. Like, and it's not just dragons, it's myself, your inner child, your Akashic guardians, everything and everyone that is aligned with your highest and best good here is wanting to assist you and also letting you know that it's important for you to also bring some fun into this. It doesn't need to be, your militant aspect. This is a tougher part, but it's also just so important for you to bring more play forward, bring more fun forward, and knowing that things, even if they are, let me say it this way, just because something is deep and moving and transformational and amazing doesn't mean that it can't also be fun. Sometimes some of the most fun things that we do are the most healing. And sometimes it's about allowing ourselves to be in the moment and enjoy that thing than it is about getting super deep with it in the moment. We can reflect later. Sometimes it's about just being in the present moment. Actually, a lot of the time, most of the time, if not all the time, it's about being in the present moment more than anything else. To just to bring in some closing words here. We as humans, yes, we have soul contracts, we've got different missions, purposes, things like that. But this is the perception that's really going to assist you with that, not just the militant aspect, but that perception of that judgment, that external judgment. The universe, spirit, divine, God, whatever word you want to use, isn't judging you. The only one besides, external people, whatever, they're going to do what they do. But any external judgment that's seemingly anchored towards you or angled towards you doesn't actually have anything to do with you because people judge themselves through what they see in other people. This is what I was talking about earlier with mirrors. So everyone outside of us is a mirror. They are a representation of something that we've got going on inside. It may be something that we do or don't really vibe with anymore, and sometimes there's lessons in that. But the thing is when someone is judging you, it's because there's something in you that they are seeing that they do or don't like in themselves. And how they perceive you is a full indication of where they're at in their own life, in their own journey, in their own experience. And it has absolutely nothing to do with you. So there's that. Additionally, and again, I'm not saying you do or don't know these things. They're just the information that's coming through. Sometimes it's repeated stuff that we need to hear 50,000 times before we actually understand it. And sometimes it's a seed. So there's that. The other thing, um, where'd it go? Oh, sorry, I just needed to come back. So the other thing, like I was saying, yes, we have soul contracts, we've got different purposes, missions, things that we're here for, all of that. And that's amazing. But at the core of everything, the only one judging yourself is you. And you're the only one that can, actually. And beyond that, the only thing we as these beings in human bodies are actually meant to do is to experience. Point blank, that's it. You can fill that in with whatever it is that you want to fill it in with, But the ultimate thing is that we are here to experience. And this is where the lightness is coming in because there's no expectations, there's no judgments, there's no, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's literally just, I'm here to experience. That's it. And if what you're experiencing does or doesn't resonate, you get to play with that. You get to figure that out to whatever extent that you want to figure it out. And if that's none, then that's none. If that's a lot, then that's a lot. But again, ultimately, what you do with this experience is entirely up to you, which can feel like a lot. And I understand that. And that's why baby steps are important. That's why showing up for yourself in these ways are important. That's why edging in from the outside of the pond versus just diving in headfirst in the center is where um, you are wanting to really be, because just diving in isn't going to get you where you think it's going to go. You're just going to either land concussed or you're going to get hypothermia and stuck under the ice, so like, so there's a lot of tips and tools that came in for you throughout the session. Just being present with yourself, reconnecting in with nature, connecting in with your cyclic nature that is connected to nature. What does that rhythm look and feel like? How does showing up for yourself feel? What does that look like? How does showing up for you show up throughout the day? There's lots of different things that you can play with that with. And if you have any questions, let me know. And if you would like to work with me on with that militant aspect, then we can definitely do that. Just let me know. We can figure something out as far as our availability goes and set up another session. But um and again, like, you can do that in other ways too. It's just, excuse me, I'm just gonna let you know, you're not gonna learn how to work with that until Healer's Edition. So it's up to you. Um She is gonna, at least I believe she's gonna be starting a Healer's Edition soon. Oh wait, no, that was for third. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that, because I thought she might, but then I was like, wait, never mind, because that was for the healers. So never mind. Nix that part. But yeah, just, like I said, just let me know if that's something you're wanting to do, wanting help with. You might be able to work on your own. I'm not seeing anything that's a big no on it, except that there isn't a physically supportive protocol that you're aware of that is coming through at this time. Um, but yeah, so and then like I said too, it wouldn't just be the session itself. You would also be getting a training basically of how to show up for yourself in this way and work through these different internal aspects. Now, there are still things that were going on behind the scenes that I wouldn't be able to share, but you would have an idea of what it looks like going through that process, and you'd be many, many steps ahead in that regard. So there's that. Um, yeah, the kitty cats are coming in big for you in lots of ways, and your freedom and transformation lies in all of what was coming forward. So I hope that you resonated with this. I hope that you got a lot out of it. I would so love and appreciate any and all feedback about the session. And if you did enjoy it, I would love and appreciate a testimonial. You can go on my business page, Angel Light Energy on Facebook, and there's a space to leave reviews. There's a tab. And so I would love it if you wouldn't mind doing that. And if you also wouldn't mind copying and pasting it and putting it into Amy's group. And then I also have my group, Divine Healing with Angel Light Energy. It'd be great if you could put it in both. That would be amazing. Because I'm pretty sure you're in my group, aren't you? I think so. If not, you're in Radiant Realignment, so that one's a good one too. There's not many people there, but still. Um, am I forgetting anything? Oh, right. Be very gentle with yourself. I set this to be very, very gentle, very intentional, because even if there isn't like intentional healing here, there was a lot of healing that transpired, as well as portals being opened within yourself and connecting into yourself in lots of different ways. And so, again, just be really gentle with you. Drink decent amount of water, get some fluids so that you can process the toxins and whatnot that have been relieved and let go during this session. Oh my goodness, my camera is driving me crazy. Sorry. It's so weird because like I record it when it's getting dark so early now, like, and it does better at night. It makes no sense. Anyway, um, getting some great sources of protein is going to be really helpful, and because you just moved a lot of energy, and also if you can eat fruit. Because fruit has the structured water in there, and that's going to be even more aligned with your body. And so, and I say if you can, because some people just don't react well with fruit, and everyone's different. So, but the structured water in fruit can be really beautiful for the body. So, um, yeah, and rest, rejuvenation, relaxation, very important. So, alrighty. I hope that you had an amazing experience, and I hope that you have an awesome rest of your day. I will talk to you soon.